This is Rock and Roll Grad School with your hosts Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling. All their favorite songs are slow and sad.
Hello, kiddies. We are going to have a good time together. And I was thinking about this earlier today, Heidi.
Yes.
Our guest today, Josh Freese.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a band in the past, let's be generous and say 20 years, important band that he has not had some tangential, if not instrumental, no pun intended, role in?
Yeah, he definitely is the Kevin Bacon of music.
Guns N' Roses, Nine Inch Nails, Sting, of course.
Yes, of course.
Offspring, Weezer, DEVO.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre.
And then bands that he hasn't played with, they all seem to mention him in their books and whatnot.
Yes, I was reading a biography of Primus, as one does, to relax.
As one does, yes.
And when he left Guns N' Roses, Brain Montana, who was playing with Primus at the time, left. And so the only Guns N' Roses track that Josh played on is, I think it was called Oh My God, from, I want to say, the End of Days soundtrack.
Okay.
Again, for a band I'm not nuts about. I know a lot about them.
Clearly.
But when Brain came in to record the Chinese Democracy tracks, basically was told, just play this part over. And so I had to learn all of Josh's stuff.
Of course.
But he has a lovely, completely ridiculous, and I think he would agree, self-indulgent
Yes.
Solo album out.
Mm-hmm.
And it is lovely. And there's more of where that came from.
Yes, and it helped bring it to life thanks to a famous friend of his. Wasn't it Stone Gossard?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I ruined that tease.
Fine. It's nice you're going to cut this out, but if we ever actually played what we really recorded, people would see that you ruin things as often as I do.
I feel like I might leave it in just for that fact, just to sort of show a little bit of the behind the scenes.
Thanks. That's nice of you. Next Monday night.
Yes.
Not this coming Monday.
The 8th.
The 8th and the 15th, I'm unavailable in the evening.
Okay. Board meeting or just?
Well, skipping the board meeting on the 8th for Not a Surf.
Ah.
And the 15th is the Stones.
I see. Where are the Surf playing? Are you a fan?
Of Not a Surf?
Yeah.
Of course. Haven't we talked about that?
No, we haven't.
I thought we did. I swear that, yeah, we did. There's an episode where we talk about when Dave and I went to see Not a Surf and we were so excited to meet them. And then I monopolized them the whole time.
Okay, well, that does sound familiar.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that could be anybody, but yeah.
That's, yeah, true.
Oh, yeah. These have been rescheduled like multiple times. So
very exciting.
Playing it at Dave's best friend from high school's venue, who's my ex, who was in the competing 80s band. So that's going to be interesting.
You've got, that's going to be a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It probably won't be nearly as dramatic as I just made it sound, but probably not an issue since it's like 20 some years ago.
Yeah, it did sound very exciting, and that they're going to be fisticuffs.
Now I ruined it.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, I'm in a band.
You are?
Yes.
When did this happen?
Over the weekend.
Way to keep things from me.
Well, I wasn't sure
that you made the cut.
Kind of.
Okay.
The School of Rock has just started a adults group, and they've been emailing about it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. The elder was like, hey, did you see this? And so when I went to go pick him in, I said to one of the two women who kind of run the whole school, I said, I don't know how else to phrase this, but don't take this the wrong way. Is this adult group just a group of old white guys playing blues?
Fair.
And she said, good question. No.
Okay.
So my first practice was Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. Only guitarists there. So they have nothing to compare me to.
Wow.
Perfect. Yep.
That's amazing.
Here's how enjoyable it was. We played a song by the Eagles, and I didn't try to just jam my head through the speaker.
Okay, that is a huge victory. What
Yeah.
was said song?
I believe it's called One of These Nights.
You know that song.
I
pretend like
don't.
you've
I
never
have
heard
not.
it before. I know you hate the Eagles, but
They
you've heard
started.
one of these
They
guys.
started playing it, and I was like, I've heard this. I have not heard it all the way through. And I will go to my grave with that belief.
Not even in like a grocery store.
No, I mean, yes, I have heard
Wrapped in the back seat of someone else driving.
something falling heavy on top of me. No, I mean, I've heard, a Take It Easy, Hotel California. I've heard a lot of Eagles songs all the way through, and I despise them all.
Yes.
But not
even Life in the Fast Lane. I do like Life in the Fast Lane.
Well, Life in the Fast Lane, I've heard all the way through.
And
Heartache Tonight. That's not my favorite. I mean, Joe Walsh does add a little bit of life to them, but you're still, it on the EKG, it doesn't really raise the pulse that much, is what I'm saying.
True. We've talked for being a band that you really don't like, and one that I'm like, about. I feel like we talk about them a lot. So
yeah. Oh no, I get that. But so we were kind of going around and discussing other songs we could play, because we tried One of These Nights and Come Together.
Okay.
Fine. In an hour and a half, we were like, okay, we kind of got this. We can play this again later. So we were trying to come up with other songs to play. And so I've spent all week going through being like, well, what could we play? And I feel like where we might be heading is towards sort of a late 70s, early 80s power pop, new wave kind of thing.
This is my kind of jam for sure.
Because our bassist said, well, there's a song by Parquet Courts that I really like. And I'd listened to them, not super familiar. The song that she loved is called Freebird 2, which is just a brilliant song title.
Yes, everything should be. In fact, we should change the name of our show to like Freebird 27.
But it just got me down this, early Elvis Costello, the Smiths, Pretenders, all this stuff, which made me think we could call the group This Charming Band.
That's adorable.
Thank you. I got nothing else. If I go in there Sunday and they're like,
No, because it's appropriate enough that if the kids come see it,
right,
won't be bad.
So that was my weekend.
I like it.
I understand the impetus, like everyone, we're locked down, let's create something fun. Why 1 minute?
Well, I mean, for me, I kind of retreated back into my home studio, because not only did I've always complained about not having time to write music, and not having time, not just to write music, but to write music for the sake of just doing stuff for fun, right? Because I'm always involved in the professional world, and I'm always out there working with all these highly skilled musicians in real studios. And I built a studio at my house about 10 years ago. And I've always kind of complained that I never really have time to use it, because I'm always out in the real world at real studios. And then, once in a while, when I do have time to use it, I complain about the fact that, oh my God, I'm at home and I'm not working for 2 weeks. Oh my God, the phone's never going to ring again. So when I realized, okay, everyone's going to have to stay home, and all my touring went away, and even some records I was working on went away, I kind of have no choice but to just hang out at home and be still and relax for a minute. And that lasted about 7 minutes. And there's only so many episodes of Adventure Time or The Office I can watch with my kids. So it's like I started going back in my studio and really just writing songs solely for the fun of it. And I had zero interest in making a record or ever releasing them. And it's funny, because at one point when I was working on music, I was just kind of recording ridiculous stuff. And I was going, you know what? I don't care if anyone ever hears this, and I don't care if I ever make a dime from this. And I'm actually now kind of contradicting myself in the way of, I kind of poke fun at people's hashtags. They'll post a photo and, it's always hashtag blessed and hashtag, the journey is the destination. And it's a picture of them at the gym or whatever the hell. It's like, oh, God. So, I always post really ridiculous shit. I love writing, the journey is the destination, moon and back and all this stupid shit, right? Sorry. But, and so as I'm sitting there, I go, you know what? I think this is what they're talking about. Like right now, Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., I'm having so much fun writing and recording this music that what's going to be the outcome? I've made records before, and I've made records that don't sell anything, and I don't really care, and I don't really need to make a record. I enjoy the process of writing music, recording it on my own, being creative, and I rarely get to do it where like the gloves are off and you're just kind of screwing around for the sake of screwing around, kind of having fun. There was a time I was making myself laugh. I was kind of, sometimes when I'm working on my little videos I make on my phone, or when I'm recording in my backyard, it's like, if I can start laughing on my own, even for that moment, it's like, wow, this is so much better than being grumpy in the other room or freaking out about the news or whatever. So honestly, I was making these songs, real quick, I know I'm a little all over the place, but the 1 minute thing was a cross between two things. One was like, okay, it's going to be really less daunting to say, I'm going to write a song, and instead of going, God, I've got to write this 3 or 4 minute song that's going to have an intro and a bridge and verses and choruses and an outro, just going, I'm going to do a 1 minute song, and it's not even going to be a quote unquote real song. It might just be me screwing around, doing something silly, and also using kind of one of my biggest heroes, which is the avant-garde, San Francisco group, The Residents. They made an album probably almost 40 years ago called The Commercial Album. And it was them poking fun at commercial music. And it was every song was 60 seconds and went verse, chorus, done. And that was it, and it was kind of fun, and kind of one of those why not moments. So between using The Residents as kind of a measuring stick or as an inspiration, and also going, okay, I'm not going to release these songs, but I'd like to make some fun little videos that literally just stick up on my Instagram, and that's it. I wanted to keep them at a minute, right? Or just under a minute. So then as I was recording these songs, one of my oldest and closest friends is Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam, who happens to own a record label. And but his record label had gone away for a while, right? He'd had it years ago. And then as far as I know, he wasn't doing Loose Groove anymore. And he called me and said, listen, I'm kind of doing a reboot to Loose Groove Records. And I've been seeing all your little 1 minute songs. And can we put it out? You want to put it out? And I was like, well, sure. I mean, if it's going to be that easy, if I can just send you the stuff and you just put it out, great. Like, a part of me it was a cross between being lazy and also looking at the reality of making a record. I'm not going out to make a record and spending a lot of time on it thinking that that's how I'm going to make a living, because I don't make a living putting up my own records. I make a living playing drums with other people and playing drums on other people's records that actually sell copies. So, but at the same time, me as a, dare I say, artist, I think I've got a lot more to say creatively than playing drums in so-and-so's band, or that band or this band. So it's a creative outlet and something that I needed to do. And that's why I like a lot of it, is because it really is coming from 100% pure and honest creative place from within me. It was being done just for the fun of it and just for the sake of me keeping my head out of the rest of the world. Last year, there was so much unrest. Aside from the pandemic, you got all the political craziness and you got all the George Floyd riots and protests. And just people were kind of, really, it was stressful, as everybody knows, and it was complicated. And so for me to go back and write a dumbass song about my 2 poodles,
or Vince Neil, let's
or
not sell
Vince
him
Neil,
short.
right?
Or
Yeah.
Vince Neil, or
Yes.
making fun of a John Mayer album title, or writing a song about my friends and bands that hate each other now, or anything. It's like it was just fun to do, and it was an outlet of me. I really wanted to just put these songs up on Instagram and have a handful of my friends or Instagram followers listen to it and go, oh, what a funny song. I love that song. That was a cool song. Or, so now, Stone being one of my few big, I guess I always call him my cheerleader, as far as he's always very encouraging with me and always has been, as far as always kind of like egging me on to write more and to be more creative outside of just playing the drums. Stone's like, listen, just, hand the record and do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you one single thing to do as far as, let me make my dad go away. Just calling the other line.
Okay, I'm at my mother's house and she's probably going to walk in here like some apparition at some point. So don't worry about it.
It's incredible that my wife hasn't walked in 4 times already and unapologetically will ask me to like move the car because it's street sweeping or what time so-and-so gets out of school, like whatever, Yeah. I think it kind of adds to the fun or the,
I agree.
Intimacy of these things. Yeah.
The creepier, the better. I was hoping your poodles would be here and I would be at home with my miniature poodle Pomeranian so he could see his aspirations of what he grew up to look like someday.
I think all my poodles are in the backyard right now. Anyways, so it was, Stone saying, I'm not going to give you any guidelines. You do whatever you want to do every step of the way when it comes to what songs you want to put on there. If you want to ask my opinion about something, if you're stuck between this song or that song or what you should do, I'd be happy to lend an ear, but you do exactly what you want to do. And as far as artwork, you do exactly what you want to do. And it should just, there's going to be no label breathing down your neck. And the fact that it's really coming from a pure and kind of fun and creative part for me and for Stone, there's very low expectations, as far as if it doesn't sell a bunch of copies, I don't come to Stone and say, hey man, you guys didn't promote my record the way you said, and vice versa. He doesn't come to me saying, hey Josh, you didn't go on tour or play any shows. It's like, he knows I'm not going to play any shows. He knows I don't want to get up and sing ever in front of anybody. And so it's like, it was, I made the record for free, I made it at my house. And so it's been a lot of fun because I was telling someone yesterday, I'm so involved in the real music world. And I do so many professional recording sessions with, other professional musicians and expensive studios. And, there's all this pressure or, focus on certain things. To be able to just go and do this for the sake of doing it and just fucking off is so much fun,
Well, you hear that in the record, which is the thing that makes it so much fun, is you can hear that fun come through. Did you ever have that moment where you kind of sat up in the middle of the night and went, my God, what have I done?
That happens about twice a week.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Different aspects of my life, whether it's, oh my God, well, I've got 4 kids. Oh my God, what have I done? Now, you know what? It's, I made, originally, I had like at least 40 or 50 of these songs, and maybe at the time before I realized I was going to put out a record, maybe I had like 25 or 30 done. And then Stone's like, yeah, let's put this record out. And I said, well, let's have 40 songs. And he said, well, instead of doing just one album and just solely for the sake of having fun artwork and this being just a continued project, he goes, let's do 2 volumes. Let's do volume 1. And then, 3 months later or something, we'll do volume 2. We don't want to put it on a week after. And I also don't want to wait a year later. But, volume 2 is already mixed and mastered and the artwork is almost done. The cover's been picked. It ties into the first album cover, which is kind of fun. And I'm just excited doing it, man. It's just fun. It's really just fun. And for me to be able to do that, like I said, in a world of, not that I don't have fun when I'm playing drums with other artists, I do, but there's a lot of times when it is work, or sometimes I'm working with someone that I might not love the music, but they sure are paying me good. And this is what I do for a living. So you do it, God, I was going to say something else, but it'll come back to me.
Well, I think it's like everybody's dream to have that best of both worlds, right? Which you truly
absolutely
have.
I feel that's the other thing. Thanks. I feel very grateful to, there's been days when I'm working back in my studio when I go, God, everyone else is at their horrible jobs. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people, unfortunately, that don't like what they do. And even if I'm not making money that second writing my wacky songs in my backyard, I'm going, God, how great that I've gotten to the point in my career where I can do this on a Monday morning. instead of pushing a pen and a paper in some office that I hate, so that part to me is like, that's such a level for me of success. Meaning, I've some people will come to me and go, Josh, does it bother you that you haven't won a bunch of Grammys, or you're not as rich as your friends in Tool or Pearl Jam, or it's like, no, the fact that I can make a living at all and go out to eat and do what I like to do, but also be able to work with people that I really admire. I mean, I grew up loving the Replacements. I grew up loving DEVO. I used to dream of meeting these people when I was 15 or 16. To be able to have known them now for 20, 30 years and work with them, that to me, even though DEVO sold a lot less records than Guns N' Roses, it's a lot more important to me that I've had the time spent with DEVO than with Guns N' Roses. No offense to Guns N' Roses, I just didn't grow up worshiping them like I did the DEVO guys,
I feel like you're I feel like you're the guy who doesn't get to say they had a bad day at the office. Like, you go meet your buddies for a beer and you're like, us the worst day at work. And your worst day at work is most people's dream come true.
Right. Well, I have to say, my only worst days at work at this point is being on the other side of the world for long, long amounts of times away from my kids. And especially if there's something, I was having some serious real life stuff go on with one of my kids a couple summers ago when I was in Europe for a while with Sting, and one of my 4 children was having a really tough time with something with school. And my wife and I were having to make big decisions about changing schools for them and what we're going to do and how we're going to handle this. And it was stuff like that sucks. I remember walking around in a parking lot somewhere like in Cologne, Germany, or Dusseldorf, Germany, and it's getting dark. We had sound check. It's getting cold. I remember it was like fall or getting into winter, and walking around on my cell phone while I'm watching people kind of file into the Sting concert. And I'm not thinking about the concert, and I'm not thinking about how great it is that I'm on tour and I'm in Europe. I'm really kind of just I'm in parent mode, and I'm kind of walking in between these semi trucks and tour buses, trying to find a quiet spot, going, God, I hate this right now. I want to be home so bad, and I don't want to be out here right now, But, and then that's the sacrifice. You can't there's that stuff that happens too, and you try and balance it as well as you can. But that for me is, I've been touring since I was 16. So it's like when my neighbor sees me going out to a car on my way to the airport, sometimes they go, oh man, you're going to whatever. I heard you're going to Russia, to go play a couple shows in Moscow. That's so cool. And maybe I've got a lot of stuff happening at home with my kids, and maybe I've already been to Moscow a half dozen times, which I have. And I'd like, to be honest, if it got canceled right now, I'd kind of be relieved, because I kind of don't want to go. Because I've done a bunch and I'm going to go a bunch. So it's not that I don't appreciate the traveling. It's like anything, when you do it, for years and years and years, and it becomes regular and normal, sometimes it's difficult when,
of course, it's all relative.
It's all relative. So, but that being said, yes, all the time I still do pinch myself and go, God, I feel so happy that I can do what I do.
You've played with such a diverse group of people. Not many people have played March of the Pigs and, Fields of Gold. Yeah. I mean, that, what do you credit that with? Is it just that you're that flexible, you're not that precious about it, or you're just a good hang?
I think it's all the above. I think it's the fact that I grew up liking lots of different kinds of music. Most of it was under what I call the pop umbrella or the rock umbrella, whether that mean Frank Zappa, which on one side is way more progressive, and some people would mention him in the same breath as other jazz musicians or fusion musicians, but he was really at the heart kind of a rock and rhythm and blues guy that then got a lot more experimental and avant-garde and classical and whatever. But so everything from Frank to, on the other end, the Sex Pistols and the Ramones, and then everything in between. And I've gone through phases growing up, like any young person, where you go through a phase where you go, God, I can't believe I used to like rock and roll. Anyone that plays 4/4 and rock music doesn't know what they're doing. It's all about these jazz cats. And you're 14, you've discovered jazz, so you think you're really cool and highbrow, right? And then you could turn 19 or 20 and go, God, I can't believe I like that, all that jazz crap. And you get into punk rock and go, God, all that jazz, precious musician shit is so lame. And so you go through these phases, and then you get older and you go, you know what? You take all the bits of things that you grew up liking, you know what I mean? There's aspects of me in my everyday life, even if it's I'm just doing artwork or writing music, that has everything to do with Captain Beefheart or the Descendants or the Replacements or DEVO or the Residents, or it's like it's all over the shop for me, and I've never sat down and tried to be a certain style, drumming wise or when I write music, but I think it just things will come out whether you like it or not. Like when I first started playing with Paul Westerberg in 1993, he went on his first tour post Replacements. And a lot of people, would say, I'd read a review or people go, yeah, there's some songs on his new record that just, sounds like the Replacements. It's like, well, he wrote all those songs.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
You know what I mean? Right. Anybody, I made the first Chris Cornell record and somebody would be like, yeah, that song really reminds me, it's kind of Soundgarden-y. It's like, well, he can't do it any other way. That's who
Right.
When he made those Soundgarden records, he wasn't trying to be Soundgarden. He was Soundgarden. You know what I mean? And same with, when I'm doing stuff with Paul and it gets compared to the Replacements, or if you do some with Sting and it gets compared to the Police, it's like, that's just them being them under a different name. They can't help it. It's going to come out that way. So for me, stylistically, mine is just a weird culmination of all that stuff that I grew up listening to and loving, and the hours and hours and hours spent watching it, listening to it, studying it, all that stuff. So it's like, I don't even know what that combination is really. It's just kind of just some weird mix of stuff, Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
God,
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes I'm babbling. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
When you're playing with somebody like Sting or Axl Rose, how much of you is concerned with what was played prior on the record, let's say? Are you sitting there going, well, how did Stuart Copeland play this? Do I want to play that, or do I want to go completely counter of what he did and try something different?
I think if it depends on which artist I'm working with, and it depends on sometimes the song or the way they feel that day, or or that year or whatever. There's times I've played with Sting where, and like I said, it's like you're there for a reason, right? So like I remember watching one guy, I won't tell you what instrument he played, but there was a guy that
rhymes with
yeah, right. There was a guy that was it was
harpsichord.
Sting's band. Yeah, exactly. There was a guy that played with Sting years ago that I was playing with that only lasted a little while, let's say, in the band. And part of that was, I couldn't really figure it out because he was a really good musician and he was a good player. But from day one, I remember going into rehearsals and he was constantly in Sting's face going, what should I do here? What should I play here? What should I play there? And I'm thinking, part of what Sting wants is he wants someone confident enough to show up, the material, and you're comfortable enough in your own skin, and maybe just confident / arrogant enough to go, yeah, I'm going to play it like the record, but I'm going to play it slightly different. Here's how I want to play it. And Sting will either go, God, that sounds great, or you know what, that sounds cool, but can you tone the one thing down and kind of do it a little more true to the record? Or there's plenty of times I'm playing something that to me is like a signature Stuart Copeland thing from a song, and Sting could go, you know what, I want you to kind of change that up because I just kind of want to hear something different. Would you mind not playing on the ride cymbal for that bit? I want to hear it kind of quieter. I want to just kind of hear that sounds cool. Sting, it's his gig, and I'm there being hired to play it the way he wants to hear it. But there's something to be said about kind of, like I said, realizing that you're there for a reason. And when I came in, I knew all the parts, but I learned quickly that he doesn't want to hear them note for note. He doesn't want to hear them exactly like the record. He likes being able to kind of expand on that stuff and have it grow a little bit. he's played Roxanne 17 trillion times. So we still got to sing the melody. He's still got to sing the same words, but we might stretch it out. We might play it a little bit faster one night. He might want to, you know what I mean? We definitely do switch it up in that way. And different artists handle that situation differently. But I always kind of like, if I walk in, I'm not going to come play, a night. I'm not going to come in and play March of the Pigs in a bossa nova style. Trent's going to turn and go, what the hell are you doing?
Well,
you know what I mean?
But it would be kind of fun if you did.
Yeah, let's just not throw that right. Yeah.
Just pick the right day.
you know. So it's like, within reason, I think sticking true to the record, but being able to kind of put some of your own flavor in it until you're saying someone's turning around saying, hey man, not so much flavor. Okay. And then you kind of pull back a little bit,
But that's awesome to be able to have that, to know that nuance and be able to judge it and be able to switch on a dime like that. That's a testament of your talent. That's incredible.
Sure. Yeah.
So you got volume 1 coming out. You've got volume 2 coming out. You going to keep doing this, or are you going to just start writing longer songs?
I was laughing there. I'm going to make some 2-minute songs now.
Yeah,
right.
Eventually, I'll build up to 12-minute fucking,
like an epic 60-minute
Tool shit. I pumped out so many little weird things, and it was a lot of fun to do. And I'm actually getting busy again out in the real world, playing drums with a handful of different people right now. That all I can think about right now is kind of like, so the first record comes out, it actually technically comes out 2 weeks from today. We're trying to figure out when the second record's going to come out, but I'm now having fun with, like, I haven't had a website in years because I don't really need one. And I let my last one like lapse, and then I lost the password, and then someone else bought the domain or whatever the hell. So it's like, I'm having fun kind of putting together hopefully a really simple website where you not get, music doesn't come on, you're trying to turn it off and things flash. I told my wife, who's helping me with it, I said, let's have a picture come up and let's have like 4 different things you can choose from. You know what I mean? News / tour, merch, photos, and maybe that's it. You know what I mean? And under the merch, I'm having fun with, aside from making some t-shirts for the record with some of the weird artwork, I'm putting together these things called mystery boxes where I haven't put a price on it yet, but you buy it and you're going to get a bunch of weird shit, and who knows what it's going to be in there, and even like going through the COVID stuff and going through all my gear and all my music equipment. I've never really collected gear. I've just kind of acquired it over the last 40 years, and I've got a lot of stuff, right? I also don't need really to sell any equipment. And whenever I see a musician selling gear, the first thing I go is, oh my God, that poor guy is having to sell all this shit. It must mean he's not working. Oh my God. But I've got a lot of crap. I got a lot of stuff that's actually good stuff that I never, ever touch. And not so much even with drums. I've got guitars that just lay around. Oh my God, what am I doing with this stuff? So I'm going to have like a thing on my website where I'm selling music equipment, where I'm selling original artwork, where I'm going to do silly, like dumbass, like cameo style things, just stuff for fun, just getting creative with different ways eventually I'd like to not be on tour all the damn time. So it's like, it's nice to be able to make a little bit of money doing things like that, without kidding myself that I'm going to go out and sell 1 million records and retire, but just getting creative with what I have here at home and just doing some of that stuff. So I don't know about already I'm still making some videos for my first record. They're easy to make, right? They're 1 minute long. And I've got some creative friends that are helping me with it, but I'm already excited about some of the video stuff for the second record. Just like, if you know any good Lou Reed lookalikes, let me know. I'm going to need to find, which I realize if you got someone with like a black kind of like bowl cut sort of with like wraparound shades and a black and white striped shirt, and you shoot it in black and white, you can kind of pull it off into someone being Lou Reed. But I've got a song.
You got to be careful he doesn't merge into a Ramone though.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Walk that line.
Yeah.
But you said Lou Reed, and I was thinking like New York era, kind of with the perm. So
the perm would be kind of awesome.
Could work too.
That's
and that would solve that problem.
That's very true.
I've got a song I'm really excited about I'm actually more excited now about stuff on my second record, of course, that's not going to be out for months, than on this first record, because I'm kind of sick of all the songs anyways. But there's a song on the second record called, and it comes from a very honest place, as silly as the title sounds, but the song's called Somehow I Like Lou Reed is the name of the song. And it's like, it just goes, I know so many people in the same boat, they're like, you know, is he a genius or is he a complete hack? You know, is he the worst, most pretentious bastard that ever lived, or is he the greatest? I don't know. And I flip-flop in between the two. And that's what makes him great, I think.
That is. But so ultimately, I think it nets out as genius, because even if he's a complete hack, it's genius. So
and I guess the title Somehow I Like Lou Reed is like, at the end of the day, I realized I do like Lou Reed, but then I'll have friends go, man, we played a festival with him in Europe in '95, and it was him and this like pedal board with his guitar, and it just sucks so bad. It sucks, but it's Lou Reed, and he's written some of these great songs, and it was such a magical time for music. The stuff that he did, you know, obviously it's undeniable that the effect that the Velvet Underground had on music and pop culture, that, you know, you can't argue with that. But so I don't know, he was just an easy person. It's a funny title.
Just a Minute Volume 1 by Josh Freese is available right now. For more information, you can follow him on Twitter or Instagram, where he is at Josh Freese.
You can check us out on all the various socials. Be sure to visit our website at rockandrollgradschool.com, and don't forget to leave us a review.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thank you, good night, and may all your favorite bands stay together.